director of Transportation Riders United, a nonprofit group based in Detroit that's working to improve and promote public transit as a way to restore urban vitality and improve quality of life and ensure transportation equity throughout Michigan. I'm joined here today by leaders from the business, municipal, and transit communities from across Michigan, as well as 150 transit advocates and supporters here to let our legislators know just how important it is that we make the investment in public transportation. What I want to talk about is the hundreds of millions or potentially billions of dollars that Michigan is missing out on and can't afford to miss out on because of our failure to sufficiently invest in public transit. You may have heard that Michigan is a donor state when it comes to transportation. For every dollar a Michigan taxpayer is sending to the federal government, we're only getting 42 cents back. That means that other 58 cents is building transit in other cities, in other states, that are then out competing Michigan for jobs and for workers and for businesses. That's something we can't afford to continue here in Michigan. We certainly can and must turn that around. That's why we are here asking our legislators to make sure that not only do we have sufficient funding for our current system to maintain our existing services, but to grow and expand that as well so that we can return not only federal investment, but also the private sector, on average, will invest $6 for every dollar invested publicly in rapid transit. So in addition to federal dollars, there's also substantial private dollars that Michigan is missing out on. At this point, I would like to invite up Melissa Roy from the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce to talk a little bit about that business support.
The Chamber has a long history of support of transit, not only in Southeast Michigan, but throughout the rest of the state. I just want to outline 3 reasons. There are 3 predominant reasons that the business community is behind transit. One is it connects employers to workers. We need to make sure that our employers are connected to the best and most talented workers in the region and throughout the nation. The second reason is making sure that we connect visitors to our region to various parts throughout the region. If you travel into Metro Airport, it's virtually impossible to figure out how you get from the airport to various points in the region. If you go to New York or Boston, Berlin, you name the city, you can get from the airport to your hotel, to your final destination by using the transit system. Michigan needs these connections to make sure that our visitors to the region know how to get throughout the region. The third and final, and probably the most impactful reason, is that we can attract younger workers to the region. We lose thousands of young people every year to cities like Chicago, Boston, New York, Denver. Transit allows young workers to explore opportunities not only for employment, but also to help develop their lives, to help develop their careers, and to form connections into their community.
Clearly, transit is vital to ensure we get sufficient federal investment in Michigan, and there's a strong business case for transit. However, it's important to note transit is also vitally important in many people's everyday lives. And at this point, I'd like to invite up Clark Carter, the director of the Michigan Public Transit Association.
I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about both Michigan public transportation, but also about the coalition and how we kind of put this together now about 5 years ago. And it actually started out in this building when 3 or 4 of us were outside the House chambers late one night trying to get our message across. I think we were fighting some draconian budget cuts at the time. And we formulated the Let's Get Moving Public Transportation Coalition, which now has over 40 members. And it stretches really from labor to management to the disability advocates to business to government, the municipal side, and all across the board to a lot of folks who value public transportation. Public transportation, as we like to say, is everywhere in Michigan, and as demonstrated by this board, there are 3 different colors of pins there. you'll see that there's some element of public transportation in every county. It may be a specialized service provider who receives funding from the state of Michigan. In some cases, it's an urban system. In many cases, it's a rural dial-a-ride type system. But we are everywhere in the state. And therefore, we have an economic impact on the entire state. And that's certainly demonstrated by a couple of statistics. The number of public transportation millages, local millages, that annually are approved by local voters. The norm is in the range of 65 to 70% approval. So we like to say local folks back home get it. They understand the impact of public transportation and the importance and necessity in their local communities. Sometimes we wish that message would filter back to Lansing a little more. In 2008, we saw truly dramatic increases in public transit ridership around the state. Not just in urban systems, but all across the state. And many people said, well, okay, that's because gas prices are at $4 a gallon. And here's the interesting thing, the amazing thing about that. They tried transit and they liked it. And our members tell us this year, fully 78% of the transit systems we surveyed have told us they expect their ridership to remain at current levels or increase. Riders in the first quarter of 2008 increased in the DDOT system by an average of 200,000 per month. Now here's the problem with that. It's great to have better ridership. But if you're going to accommodate a dramatic increase in ridership, it means you're putting more buses out, you have more employee hours, you have more wear and tear on vehicles. So you can imagine with a stagnant budget, the result is all of transit is losing ground rather than gaining ground, even at a time when people are saying we value you more than ever, we want your services more than ever. And remember this, most people do not ride transit for the fun of it. Most people ride transit because they're going somewhere either to make money or to spend money. And that helps our economy. Thank you, folks.